Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones, and I'm going to get right into the topic. Today's topic is not every man is equipped to becoming red pill or MGTOW. Not every man is equipped to become red pill or MGTOW. Now, why do I say that? Well, this is a very simple issue. Because you have a number of men who don't know who they are. They don't know what their needs are. And they're not disciplined. And then you must look at the type of family foundation that men have come from. Also, you have to look at the education that a number of men have. Now, the reason why I talk about education so much is because a number of men, when they go to public schools and even college, they see nothing but women. You see the teachers, the administrators, you see the deans, the presidents, a lot of them are women. And what men see and hear and do, they take direction from women. So when men approach real men, they have a problem with dealing with real men. And in their eyes, they've been told all their lives that masculinity is toxic, when in essence, the men who have been indoctrinated by these women and these institutions, that's toxic because it doesn't allow men to understand what it is to become a mature male. You see a lot of effeminized men out here who are basically immature when it comes to the mind. Now, that being said, when it comes to being MGTOW and red pill, a number of these men will hide under the name to make themselves feel good. This is the same way that feminists operate. See, feminists don't even have a clue themselves of what they really want. And a number of these feminists don't even know that they're basically embarking in a system of Marxism. Well, what these guys are doing, they're embarking in an emotion called anger. You see, this is especially for a number of you young guys because you want to sow your oats. Because what's really on your mind when it comes to women is not a relationship, it's to have sex with them. And what you're doing is you're starting off as a simp to try to get validation from these women so you could sleep with them. But at the end of the day, what's happening is you're taking your time and your resources, and also you're being irresponsible, because this is why we have a lot of women who get knocked up at early ages, because men and women who have been taught about the birds and the bees don't understand that the wrong thing goes on in the trees. And when you look at the dichotomy of relationships in today's culture, they're nothing more than hookups. But when it comes to a man, most men in today's generation have not been taught discipline. This is why you can't be MGTOW. Yeah, the name sounds good to you because it makes you feel like part of something. But you have to understand the philosophy of what you're being part of in order to practice the principles. And a number of men just don't know how to do that. Now, I always tell individuals, particularly you young guys out here, if you want to become part of a red pill man or a MGTOW man, you have to have structure in your life. You have to understand who you are and what you want to do. Because MGTOW basically is not a movement. It doesn't involve collectivism. It's individualism. And a number of you young guys don't understand that. See, a lot of us old guys, because I'm 54 years old, Had I had the knowledge that I do now, I wouldn't have had children. I wouldn't have gotten married. And this moves to another point. The reason why a number of you young guys, and let's say some older guys out there as well, cannot be MGTOW or red pill because they're influenced by PUAs and dating coaches. Well, if you're going to have a coach in your life, have a life coach. Now, you don't have to pay for a true life coach if you listen to MGTOW and red pill videos. And if I'm in a situation where I'm a young guy, I want to be able to listen. And a lot of you men don't listen. You're stuck in your ways. You're stubborn. You think you know it all, particularly you millennial men, but you don't know anything. You only know what you hear and what sounds good. You don't know how to filter out the bad from the good. And a number of you men are too emotional. You lack critical thinking skills. You don't know how to have a conversation. You don't know how to disagree. And this pertains to the black manosphere because everybody's at odds with one another. This is why a number of men cannot be MGTOW or red pill. And also, you have individuals who think they know what red pill and MGTOW is, but you don't. And at the end of the day, because you don't have the discipline, you're not going to be able to change to become MGTOW or red pill. Why? Because you don't want to change. You're very comfortable where you are on the plantation. And a lot of you hide behind the name because you really want women, but you have a disdain for women as a misogynist because you can't get women and you think you're entitled to have a woman. And all you're doing is giving women power when you're looking for their validation. And I've said this many times. As a man, you must have discipline. You must have standards. You must understand that this philosophy of red pill and MGTOW is to help you, not hurt you. And in order to be sustainable with this philosophy, you must understand that red pill and MGTOW is a philosophy and not a movement. A number of you men are basically saying that MGTOW is the reverse of feminism. It is not. Feminism is a Marxist movement, and you have a number of women who don't even know what feminism is. In fact, women do a good job of hiding behind who they really are. This is why women, when you talk to a number of them, they identify themselves as independent. They identify themselves as being educated, strong. They have a good job. They pay their bills. They have a nice car. And they have a nice house. Well, that's fine and dandy, but that's not who you are. You're identifying yourself with things, tangible items. But tangible items don't tell me who you are. And that's what a number of you men are doing. You're hiding or you're using MGTOW and red pill as a human shield when in actuality, you don't know who you are. And many of you are trying to find yourselves, but society has basically taught you not to be a man. It's taught you how to validate women even if they don't deserve the validation. But being a true red pill man and a MGTOW man means you have to make sacrifices. You have to change your lifestyle. And when I say change your lifestyle, it's not just for dating and relationships. It's also changing your diet. It's changing your regimen. It's becoming more aware of what's going on around you. And when you're too comfortable where you are, you're not going to do that. This is why a number of guys who are hiding behind MGTOW and red pill are always angry because they really want to be on the plantation. In fact, they're really blue pillars. Now, even red pill and MGTOW men make mistakes. But we have an idea of how to correct them because we can discipline ourselves. Because number one, our focus is about where we want to go. Now, going back to dating, too many of you young guys put all your eggs into dating. And if I do a cost benefit analysis on dating, many of you lose money and time, your emotions when you meet women. Because a number of women you meet are trying to wear two hats. On one hand, they want to be feminist, and on the other hand, they want you to be traditional to them, but not them becoming traditional to you. So we've learned how to put all of our eggs in a basket for women. But do you think women think about you like you think about them? No, because women are taught how to be selfish. And society makes it very incentivizing for women to be irresponsible because women always have a safety net. As a man, you do not have a safety net. You have to go out and continue to build for yourself. In order to actually become successful as a man, you must understand the philosophies of MGTOW, because all roads lead to MGTOW and red pill, regardless of what any man thinks. But you have too many men who are siding with women. You have too many men who are very comfortable being on a plantation. They may talk like they want to leave, but they really don't want to leave because it takes work. And anything that's worth having, you have a number of individuals who talk about or dream of having it, but they'll never have it. Why? Because they don't have the discipline to get it. They don't have the work ethic to get it. They don't understand the philosophy to get it because they don't want it bad enough. And at the end of the day, I go hard on the men because there are a number of men who are trying to utilize this philosophy for their own selfish gain. Now, I don't know what their gain is, because if you don't know anything about the philosophy now, you'll never know anything about the philosophy. And trying to get women to validate you by going on their channels to explain the methodology or the philosophy to women isn't going to get you any brownie points. It's like the woman giving you shut-up sex. And shut-up sex is just sex that's not good, but is there to manipulate you into giving her the information that she wants from you. And there are a number of men who allow themselves to be taking the, in actuality, blue pill because they really want women to validate them. And also, discipline. You have a number of insecure men out here. And when you're insecure, you have to understand why you're insecure. And a number of men just don't handle the truth about themselves. Well, the reason why a number of men are insecure because they lack confidence, they lack courage. And if you're going to be part of a philosophy, you have to understand that this philosophy requires structure. It requires standards. By utilizing the red pill and MGTOW acronym in front of your title doesn't mean you're such. It just means that you are, in essence, guessing about what the philosophy is, or you're hiding behind the philosophy to make yourself feel good, because in actuality, you don't feel good as a man about yourself. So what I am showing you is that every man cannot be MGTOW or red pill because they don't have the work ethic, they don't have the structure, they don't have the courage, they don't have the confidence, and they're really looking to validate women. This is why they love to be on a plantation. You have some men out here who sound good, but you have to look at their actions. And again, these are the men who are going to throw red pill and MGTOW brothers under the bus because they don't like red pill or MGTOW. They like feminists. And you men who ascribe to yourself as being feminist, you don't even know what feminism really is. Because I said in a previous video, the moment you disagree with a feminist, what she is going to do is throw you under the bus as well, because she's a misandrist. She has a hatred for men. And the reason why she has a hatred for men, because she's been brainwashed by thinking that men are the oppressors when women have been benefiting off of what men have given them for the last 50, 60 years. But a number of women, they don't appreciate what they have because they're not fighting for anything because they don't know what they want. And there are a number of guys who have been raised by these women to think like women. This is why you can't be MGTOW or red pill. You're too emotional. You don't have the logic or the critical thinking skills to interpret a philosophy, because a number of you call it a movement. This is not a movement. This is a philosophy. And the philosophy of MGTOW and red pill is not based on collectivism. I said that before. I'm going to say it again because repetition is the mother of all teachings. And what I'm doing, I am teaching. You just have to listen to the content that I'm presenting to you. And not only my content, but listen to other true MGTOW content. Now, for me, I've been divorced. I've had to pay child support. And to you young guys out here, you don't know what that's like. When you get your bank account frozen, and that happened to me. In 2003, I got my bank account frozen because I lost my job. Then when I found another job, they had direct deposit. Well, I didn't take the direct deposit option because my bank account was frozen. So I had to go to a check cashing place to cash my checks so I'd have money to pay my rent. Also, back in 1997, I was making $7.50 an hour working for a survey company in Virginia Beach called John Serene and Associates. Do you know for child support, off of $7.50 an hour? And at that time, they weren't taking your salary minus all the deductions. They were taking your gross salary. So if you made $1,500 gross, that's what they're going to utilize the calculation for child support. And they did it because you had a lot of angry people who believe that men were irresponsible. And this is the time Bill Clinton was in office. So what they did, they took a quarter of my salary, and I also had to pay health insurance. So I was left, because I was getting paid weekly, a measly $100 to live off of. And I had to file bankruptcy. And I say to myself every day, I wish I had known this a long time ago. Philosophy of MGTOW and red pill. I would have never had children. I would never been married. Because marriage is not cost effective for men. The laws do not benefit you. I don't care how much a woman wants to get married. Don't do it, guys. Because it's going to set you back. And you're going to be in a marriage, and a lot of times it's going to be sexless. This is what a lot of us older guys are trying to tell you. And we're not angry about it. We just pick up a lot of knowledge. But see, that's another thing. A number of you guys haven't gone through any experiences to become MGTOW or red pill. Once you hear a number of our experiences, particularly the older experiences, and you put everything together, then, only then, can you become MGTOW or red pill. And that's only if you listen to what MGTOW, true MGTOW and red pillars are saying, if you're willing to do the work, if you understand the philosophy, if you also understand your needs as a man, and you can't be angry at women. We already know that women have caused a lot of problems for men. But see, we have to leave women out of it for a moment because you have to look around you. There's a lot of envy and jealousy amongst men. This is why the envious men call MGTOWs and red pill men losers. No, they're losers. Why? Because they're uncomfortable with true masculinity themselves. They'll talk about it, but many of them are effeminate, and they don't want to admit that. That's why you have a number of men out here who are switch hitters. They bat from both sides of the plate. But you're not going to hear another man say this, because the men who are effeminate really envy men who are masculine. But just like women, they don't want to deal with strong men because they're uncomfortable around strong men. And this is why a number of men of today cannot be MGTOW or red pill, because they've been taught that masculinity is toxic, when in essence, feminist Marxism is toxic. Why? Because it's a cancer amongst the 5 social constructs that I put together. And I call them government, private sector jobs, media, education, and religion. Those 5 areas of society dictate how society is going to be running. And you have a lot of men who are in those 5 power conferences of society who are running it, and they've been influenced by women. And see, that's another reason. Feminist influence will not allow a number of men to be MGTOW or red pill. And these are men who are in positions of power. Why? Because politically, women are a voting bloc. Women have a lot of special interest. Women donate money to these companies, to the government, to the candidate running for office. A lot of people don't know that. But as men, we don't have the luxury of doing that. So we have to continue to be disciplined. And see, a number of men can't be MGTOW or red pill because they don't have their eyes open. They're blind. They think everything is going smoothly when it really isn't. And at the end of the day, they're naive and delusional just like women. And a number of men can't be red pill or MGTOW because they don't identify with the red pill or MGTOW philosophy. All they're just doing is hiding under it or using it as a human shield to make themselves feel good. And at the end of the day, as a man, continue as an individual to travel that road as a Sigma male. Remember, this philosophy is not collectivist. It is individualist. And once you understand that, then you can grow some confidence, some courage, some discipline. And if you're willing to listen and understand what the philosophy is stating, and you're willing to work hard, and you have discipline, structure, and you respect the philosophy, then only, and I'm just saying only, because it all depends on you as an individual, you will become a red pill or a MGTOW. But you must stay on top of the philosophy, and you must follow through. So you have a number of people who use this euphemism, say what you mean what you say. That's incorrect. Say what you mean, follow it with action, then you mean what you say. And if I switch it around, follow it with action, because you mean what you say, and you say what you mean, if I switch it around, I get the same result. But when it comes to discipline, honor, loyalty, masculinity, integrity, that's what you have to become a MGTOW or red pill. And a number of men just don't have it. That's why this philosophy is so difficult for them, and they don't want it. And if you don't believe me, you look around you. Look at all the videos that have been watched from guys who don't like this philosophy because they don't like being men. They like getting validation from women because they will continue to live on a plantation. And when you live on a plantation, you're going to remain in a subservient position. And at the end of the day, as a man, I want peace, not war. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. If you like what I just presented, please comment, like, and subscribe. Once again, my name is Leon Jones. I'm out.